Welcome back to another episode of the Cage Rock Podcast with Caleb, presented by OddSmoker MMA. Today I have Freddy Future Race with me, who's got an upcoming fight with Milk and Cookies, June 28th in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Freddie, thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Just ready to fight, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been awesome getting to know you, talking to you over the last few days.
hmm
Camp has started. You're going through camp. How's it going? How are you feeling leading up to your
Yeah,
event?
I'm ready. Camp's really good. It's a little off. I work out of town, so I got to make a little adjustments from being out of town, not being no near a gym or anything. But it's going great. It's going great. I'm on my week off. I'm training down here with Bailey. We getting it in.
That's awesome. Before we get into more about camp and fights and all that, let's talk about how you got into MMA.
Well, my uncle Mikey, he's big. He always showed me like UFC fights. Got me watching like Ant Man. I watched all that stuff growing up, so I really just like the art of it and like all the Japanese culture coming up into like fighting stuff. So that's how I really got into it.
How long have you been training now?
Uh, I trained when I was young, like 12 to 14 for 2 years. Fought at a few kid fights, but recently I just started training about a year ago. Started back.
And this is your second MMA fight, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about your first fight. What was it like walking?
Uh,
How did it go?
yeah. It was. It's what I expected and what I needed. It caught me off guard. It's I watched yours and Bailey's podcast and he had said it. You had to have the mentality, and I most definitely didn't go in there with the mentality I needed. That's really all it was for me. I had a great camp, did everything I was supposed to do. Went in there with a real game opponent. I had a few dropouts and ended up with a dude who done fought for a belt. For my first fight, real good game, jiu-jitsu opponent. But went 2 rounds with him on the ground. Defending our good stuff. But we're just ready to put on a show this fight for sure.
Is there anything that you had to do different after your camp for your upcoming opponent?
Oh yeah, I like Bailey did. We've been working a bunch on our boxing and kickboxing. I watched his last fight. He decent on the ground. Same with me. But I expect him to want to throw hands, and I'm ready for the ground now.
That's awesome. Has there been any challenges during this camp? Besides,
Mm,
I know you're working more on kickboxing and whatnot. Doesn't necessarily mean it's been a challenge, but has there been any challenges in camp?
yeah, I ain't really got to spar any, and what you call it, and what is it? What I just had it on top of my head. Uh, Really just the sparring thing. I think that's the only thing that really ain't going good is I just ain't really had to spar. Yeah, I think I'm gonna spar this week sometime. I'm gonna go to a boxing gym and get some sparring in. But I think that's really the only thing. And then I'm supposed to fight at 125, but so I ain't really got to gain no weight or eat nothing. So I mean, my food, I'm just eating, so I'm good. So that ain't a
You're
problem.
right. So wait, so this fight you're going up a weight class?
Well, I'm supposed to fight at 125, but didn't have nobody at 125, and so I'm fighting 135 again. Yeah. So it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Um, what um, what do you want for your career? I mean,
And I'm
uh,
I'm I'm trying to fight as many amateur fights as I can, do all this stuff that I can, get in all these promotions. I'm glad I got with MSC. They're a really good fight promotion. They really help out their fighters and stuff and promote for them. And connection with this is a real big thing. It helps a lot of fighters get out there. And I respect you having me on there, and I appreciate it. But I'm trying to make it all the way. I'm trying to eventually where I can stop, working and actually just train and fight. That's all I ever wanted to do, and so that's where I see myself.
that's awesome. Yeah, and having a promotion like MNC, and people who do these podcasts like me interviews, it's a great way to get your name out there and
hmm
get people looking at you. So again, thanks for coming on. Glad I can help with your journey
Yeah.
best I can. So just some fun questions. I know well you've only had one camp, um, and I'm sure did you have to cut weight for that one?
Well, I did. I was kind of fat at first. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't really fat, but I was overweight. I walk around 135, but I've been working out of town, and I accepted the fight when I was out of town. I've been eating, eating, and I little had to drop weight, so it wasn't a bad cut at all. But I walk
Well,
around
food for the soul.
135.
Oh, you said what? I'm sorry.
No, you fine. What'd you say?
I said, do you have like a favorite food for after camp or anything when you do have to cut? Like, man, I really want this to eat.
Oh no, I love all food, every food, any food, everything. I really love everything. I'm not picky at all. Like, I'm that type of person. Like, where you want to go? I'm like, shit, food. Like I'm gonna find something to eat, so it don't matter to me.
Yeah, I understand. I can relate.
Yeah, I was gonna say food is probably the best thing. When I'm at camp, that's all I think. I'm training. I'm what I'm finna eat after. That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. So you said you grew up with your uncle watching like UFC and stuff. Do you have
Mhm.
a favorite UFC fighter, retired UFC or current UFC fighter?
Oh yeah, I look up John Jones. John Jones is a real big inspiration of mine. Everybody's whoop the whoop. I just like how he's all around. I like the all around aspect. I like the all around aspect of him. He ground, striking, kicking, jiu-jitsu. It's really whatever.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. I'm
Yeah,
right back in the cage and
yeah. I
defend the
want to
belt
see.
again or let the belt go.
Yeah, I want to see the Tom Aspinall really fight. That's what I really want to see, the Tom Aspinall fight. That's gonna be a
Yeah,
good one.
that's gonna be a good one for sure.
Yeah,
Um, I love UFC. I love watching. I watch every Saturday.
yeah,
Which is why I don't do my interviews on Saturdays. 'Cause I'm busy with UFC stuff. But
yeah.
um, if you could fight any fighter in the world in any weight class, this is a hypothetical question. Who would you want to fight?
Mm, hypothetical. Probably. What's his name? Uh, Lewis, Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis.
Yeah, I like him
Why?
because I feel like he'll knock me clean out, and I like getting hit. That's one of my bad things. I like getting hit, and shit. I feel like it'd be a nice little fight. If I hypothetically, if I was this way, I feel like it'd be a good fight.
I love Derek Lewis. He's one of my favorite fighters. I saw him fight when they were in St. Louis, and he's entertaining, man. I love
Yeah,
watching him fight.
that's my big thing, entertaining. That's what I like. I like the after show of it. I like it all. The entertainment is probably my biggest thing of the sport.
And that's what we need. I mean, as a fan, like we love entertaining fights. You see so many like boring fights. You just take to the ground, wrestle, and whatever. Like those entertaining fights, man. They're
It's something else,
and
yeah.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure you just said I need to backtrack a little bit. You enjoy getting hit.
Yeah. You can ask Jay. That's my favorite thing. I sit there. I don't box at all, but I go to a boxing gym and I sit there. I just, and I like getting hit. It's just fun.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've heard that someone say they actually enjoy getting hit. Like everyone I've talked to, they're like, yeah, like I feel bad hitting them and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's what we get paid to do. Is what we do. And you're over here like, yeah, come hit me. I love it.
Oh yeah, so I like hitting people. I like getting hit. Shit, and that's what it is. That's when most people forget about the sport. It's not about yeah, winning, losing shit. I'm win, lose or draw. You gotta catch them all. You know, we in there to fight. I ain't. I don't like the ducking fight stuff or the dropping weights or the dropouts. That's probably my biggest like turn off of the sport is dropouts. That shit pisses me off more than anything.
Oh yeah, I hate people who deal with the dropouts like Juice Man. Like it's just so disrespectful to the fighter.
Yeah.
You got these people go and put it because camping cheap, training ain't cheap, and you
Mm-mm.
spend all this time doing it, and then next thing you know, your opponent's pulled out. So I totally understand that.
Yeah. Most definitely. I had 3 dropouts last fight and then 3 dropouts this fight already.
That's crazy. Well, I hope your opponent stays.
Yeah, nah. He coming down from 155. So uh
Oh, for real?
yeah, so I just hope he makes weight. That's the only thing. But he should. Hopefully,
That's
I mean.
a big weight drop. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna see. He won his last fight. It's actually it's the dude who Bailey's fighting. He lost. I'm fighting the winner of that fight.
Okay,
Yeah.
um, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
Mm,
Um, what So during your training, what's been the most important mental aspect you've learned?
Mm, not to do the same shit I did my first fight. Yeah, that's all I can think is. So I went in there. I knew I was going against a real ground game competitive component, and I was too worried about not getting taken down. And I threw a body kick, which I watched all his last fights. He caught almost all the body kicks. So I mean, I don't know why I threw it. You know, it was open, and it's just the mental. That's all I've been working on is my mental. You know, not getting in my head. You know, just going in there, fighting, do what I got to do, and come out with the W.
That's a great way to think about it, you know. And then each fight too, you know, you're new, you're young, so you're still learning, you know. And
Yeah,
after each fight, until you get more fights under your belt and really learning, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna go back like, damn, I really shouldn't have done that, or I need to do
yeah,
this better, or you know, this worked, that didn't work. So and that's all it is, just learning experience, you know.
yeah.
What what's been the most rewarding aspect of being an MMA fighter or just training?
Having kids look up to you really. I got a bunch of kids back at home that really inspired me to keep going. I wouldn't go. I hadn't fought since I was a kid, and a bunch of people told me to keep getting big into it, but I ain't had time. I've been working, and I ain't really thought about it. But everybody back at home, being on my ass, telling me to hide back in the cage, what I'm supposed to do.
That's awesome. I sure was going to ask you what your next question is going to be. What motivates you or inspires you to keep going?
Oh man, shit, the love of fighting. Shit. I just love fighting. That's all I can say. I love fighting shit. And the people shit that's in it. Shit. Fight game probably has the best, even after fights, you sit there and you beating this dude's ass. But after the fight, like J and BP's perspective, they had a really good fight in November. And you wouldn't expect, you beat the shit out of somebody, but they like brothers now. So the fight game really shows a lot of love, and that's really, I respect that a lot.
I've noticed that a lot, with especially this group.
Hmm.
Y'all definitely talk shit, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, well,
you
it's
know, and
definitely
I love it. It keeps me entertained. I love it.
it's a good chat funny, man. A good chat is funny.
You can't do what you love if you're not having fun, you know.
Exactly.
So it's, you know, the fact that you surround yourself with a bunch of great guys. You got Bailey, his gym, and whoever else you train with. I mean, and that's what you need because you can't do it on your own, you know.
Mm-mm.
Um, well, yeah, I mean, that's really all I want to talk about. You know, we'll have another interview come the day before the fight, and then after the fight, of course. So we'll talk about how you're feeling, you know, the day
Mm-hmm.
before, and then how you're feeling coming out of the cage. Is there anybody you want to shout out or anything?
Yeah, I want to shout out Bailey. I want to shout out Jay Marceau. I want to shout out Jordan and MMC. I want to shout out you for having me on here, and I just want to shout out all my fight fans and all my family, man.
Awesome. Freddie, where can we find you on social media?
You can look me up on Facebook. That's where I represent all my fight stuff. As on Facebook, Freddy Rice. You can look me up. That's pretty much all.
Awesome. Well, y'all don't forget, add Freddy Rice on Facebook. Keep track of his MMA career as he's just starting out. He's going in for his second MMA fight with MNC Hattiesburg, June 28th. Come support him. Come support all the other fighters that are on that card. You won't be disappointed. There's some amazing matchups on that card. As always, everyone, you can find me at OddSmoker MMA, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Um, Reach out to join me on my podcast or any graphic designs and any types that you're all looking for. Um, yeah, uh, that is all I have for you to Freddie. Before we jump off, I want to make sure there's nothing else you want to add. Any words to your opponent?
Oh yeah, man. I'm looking forward to a war, man. Y'all gonna have a really good show. I expect a real good bang out. Even if it's on the ground, it's gonna be real nice. I expect nothing but a fight. A brawl. That's all I want. And shit. Best of luck to you, dog.
Well, Freddie, I cannot wait to see you in action on June 28th.
You coming?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How am I gonna do pre and post fight interviews if I'm not there?
See. That's what I was gonna ask. I didn't know if it was going. I'm sitting there getting my hands wrapped. I pop my phone up. I'm sitting there like this. I didn't know what we was gonna do. So I was gonna ask.
No. I will be there. And those for who are watching of Milk MNC, I will be there at the fights. We will be doing live cover. I'll be doing live coverage with y'all. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Look forward to meeting you in person and getting you back on.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Of course, but you have a great rest of your day.
All right, that's me too.
Bye.